Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. My name is Vaishali Rathod and today we will learn how to read English literature if you are preparing for UGC NET English literature exam. So let's begin. Okay, so first we'll start with writer. Suppose if you are reading any writer, how to read any writer. Suppose if the writer is the major one, then any detail about him or her is obviously important one. But what to read when you are reading a minor writer? So in that case, what you have to do, go by surface level reading of that writer. What about surface level reading? Surface level reading is when only you are reading some points that is important to that writer, like if he has written some major work and he's famous for that work only, then just read about that work. And if he has written some other works, then just you have to remember like the name of that work, the year of publication of that work, and central character of that particular work. This kind of details are important. But when you are reading a writer who is the major one, suppose if you are reading Shakespeare, so you cannot skip anything about Shakespeare. So how to read that one? So in that case, read the research paper that is available about that writer. Suppose if you are reading his work like sonnet that he has written, then go by research paper that you found about this sonnets that he majorly famous one. Okay, suppose if you are reading Tempest, go by the post colonial approach to Tempest. Go by summary of his works, because in that case you won't be able, if you have limited time to complete this author. Even it's like if you are reading Shakespeare for a month, then also you won't be able to complete, because there is a lot to read about Shakespeare. So read some good research paper that is possible. So this is how you can complete some major and minor writer. Okay, if writer is the major one, go by whatever possible research material that you'll find. Okay, if the writer is the minor one, then go by surface level reading of his other major work that he has written, and some minor details about other works that he has published. Okay, so this is how you have to read the writer. After that, when you are reading any writer, which are the areas that you need to pay more attention when you are reading a writer, when you are making notes for your exam preparation? So in that case, age, writer's age plays an important role when you are reading any writer, because this kind of questions were frequently asked in the exam and will be there in future also. Okay, so that you need to pay attention, that author belongs to which age. Okay, just like questions were there like pre-Raphaelites, okay, Victorian age, late Victorian, early moderns, okay, middle English period. So you must be aware when you are reading any writer that that writer belongs to which era. Okay, after that, if he or she has written something different, what does it mean when I note that wrote something different? Suppose if writer has majorly written some novels and one collection of short story he or she has published, then that become very important one. Okay, to remember. Suppose if you are reading R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan was majorly famous for his novels, okay, his collection of short stories. But do you know that he has also translated Ramayana and Mahabharata? So this kind of information plays an important role when you are reading any writer. Okay, so this is wrote something different is all about. Then the third point that I have added, critical text and banned books. Okay, so critical text was always very important part of net syllabus. Why it is so? Because when these books were banned one, okay, so there will be some reason, okay, of just like I'll give you an example of it. Lolita now it is considered to be the classic one, okay, but this when this book was published, it was banned, okay. Author has republished it, again it was banned. So there is a whole process of publishing that book, that how it is serially published, okay. The reason why it is banned, why? Because society is not able to accept the change that is shown in that book, okay, just like Ulysses, okay. So this kind of books now considered to be the classic one, but earlier these were the banned book, just like Salman Rushdie's Satanic Verses, that was also banned, okay, but now it is considered to be the classic one. So this kind of text are always very important one when you are preparing for your exam. Then first and last work, okay. So first and last work is always important one, not only for this exam, but also when you are reading any writer, you must be aware that what he has first written, okay, when he has started his career as a writer. Just like first and last work has told, very important one. In December 24, this kind of questions were there in the exam, just like last novel of George Eliot was asked, okay. So last novel of George Eliot was, it was Daniel Deronda, okay. So this kind of topic is always very important one. Just like we all have read R.K. Narayan, okay, we know that he has written Swami and Friends and some other novels, okay. But do you know that when he has started his own career, Swami and Friends was not his first work that he has written. So what was that? When he has started his career, he has first written a review, okay, a review that he has written, okay, that is maritime laws in 17th century, okay. So that was his work that he has written. So just like Rushdie, we know him for his Satanic Verses or Midnight Children, but his first work is Grimus, okay, that is by Rushdie, okay. So first and last work always important when you are reading any writer. We'll go by the next point, okay. So fifth point that we have is incomplete and unpublished works, okay. So incomplete and unpublished work is also important one when you're preparing for this exam. So frequently this kind of questions were there, just like very famous one, Chaucer, okay. As we know that Chaucer famous for his Canterbury Tales, okay. He has his incomplete work that we have is Canterbury Tales, that is not the complete one, okay. So this kind of questions were there, incomplete, unpublished. Just like Diary of a Young Girl, it was posthumously published work, okay, not when that Anne Frank was there, it was not published, okay. So incomplete work, unpublished work, and posthumously published works are always important for this exam. Then sixth point that I have added was awards. Now awards are always important, okay, but not all awards are important, because if you try to mug up the whole list, you won't be able to revise it, okay, or not able to recall it, because there are many awards, National awardee is there, Booker awardee is there, Booker of Booker awardee is there, okay, Man Booker is there, Sahitya Academy is there, okay, Baba Saheb Phadke award is also there, okay. So I think award, the first one, okay, and the recent one, when you are giving that exam, if the recent award is there, then you have to recall that one, and the first awardee is important as what I have studied, just like first Nobel Award in literature from India, in literature. So that we all know about him. That who's that person? Ravindranath Tagore. Okay. Okay. Other than that, I will give you like first Indian woman to win first Indian woman to win Man Booker Prize. Man Booker Prize. Okay. Which year? 1997. So who's that lady? That lady is Arundhati Roy. Okay. So she is important one. First Indian man to receive Sahitya Academy Award. So who's that? Famous one, R.K. Narayan. Okay. For which work? That you all know, The Guide. Okay. Now next topic that we have is biography and autobiography. Okay. Biographies are very important one. Autobiographies are also important one, because in recent 2024 net exam, this type of questions were there, just like My Experiment with Root, okay, Akarmashi, Juthan, Long Walk to Freedom, Patrick White's Life. Now you have to define that which is not an autobiography, okay, and answer we all know, Long Walk to Freedom, that is not an autobiography. Other options that were there in the paper, like My Experiment with Root or Akarmashi or Patrick White's Life, okay, Biography of Naipaul, okay. So biography and autobiographies are always very important one, okay. Then first one to start something new. Now what does it mean, first one to start something new? It means when, if author is the first one who has started something could be movement, okay, that he or she has started, something could be term that he or she has coined, something could be style, okay, or phrase that he or she has first time used, okay. So this something could be newspaper or magazine, okay, something could be press, something could be review, okay. So this kind of things, first, if he was the first or she was the first one to start that thing, then it is important one. Just like there was a question in 2011, okay, like the term curtal sonnet, curtal sonnet. Now who has coined that term? The term is coined by Hopkins, okay. So this type of question was there in the exam, just like the term practical criticism. The term practical criticism was coined by whom? So we all know that it is coined by I.A. Richard, okay. Just like other question that we have, just like panopticon, very famous question, panopticism. Now this is the concept, okay, to external spine, okay. Now who has coined this term? So this term was coined by whom? It was Michel Now Michel Foucault has coined this term, Okay, so this kind of questions were there. Okay, if some term was associated with some author, then also it's important one. Just like comedy of Venus, okay, was associated with whom? It is associated with Harold Pinter. Recent question that was there, frequently asked question. It was asked in 2012, 2024, December 20, multiple time in set exam, multiple time in net exam also. Which question? That is comedy of Venus. By whom? That is by Harold Pinter. This term was associated with him. Okay. Other than that, if any group name was given to some author and that is coined by some historian or some writer, that is also important one. Suppose if I'll give you an example, Lake School of Poets. Now associated to, as we all know, Wordsworth, Coleridge and Southey. But this uh, uh, term was coined by whom? So it is coined by Francis Jeffrey. Okay, so this kind of things were important one. Okay, we'll go by the. Now after this, groups were always very important one. If any writer was associated with any group, okay, suppose again and again questions were there like Bloomsbury group. Okay, Bloomsbury group is there. We have a university with favorite topic of net paper. Okay, then we have also beat generation is there. We have angry young men generation. We have transcendentalist. Okay, so this kind of things were important one. If they were associated with some group also, if they are associated with some magazine, if they are associated with some review or some press, okay, if they coined some term, okay, so this kind of things were important one when you are reading any writer. We'll go by the next page. After this, trilogies are also important one, because this type of questions were also there in the exam. Suppose like Amitav Ghosh. Okay, Amitav Ghosh has written trilogy. Okay, other than Amitav Ghosh, we have Mulk Raj Anand. Recently in this 24 December exam, this question was there. Okay, trilogy by Mulk Raj Anand. Okay, the village, okay, village across the black waters, the sword and the sickle. Okay, so if that writer has written any trilogies, then also it's important one when you are reading that writer. Okay, so now after writer, what to read when you are reading any text, that we'll see. Okay, so title is always important one, not only for this exam but also when you are reading any text to understand the meaning. Okay, and if that title is taken from somewhere, then it's become a very important one. If it has some hidden meaning, then also it's important one. Suppose if you have read a 100 best modern novels, then there is a work, The Postman Always Ring. The postman, that is, rings twice. Okay, now if you have read this novel, the postman here does not denote the meaning of a postman who delivers the letter, but the postman is considered to be natural justice, because the heroine Cora in that novel, okay, she has killed her husband, okay, and her boyfriend, okay, he has helped her in killing that person, and both they were set free from the court, okay. But what has happened when they are out of that court, somehow Cora's boyfriend, he was driving some car and he killed Cora. So the ring was not heard for the very first time, but when second time it was heard, the natural justice is there, okay. So this kind of uh, information is always important one, okay. I'll give you some another example of it, okay. Just like it was asking, 2012 this question was asked, the tragedy of Ferex and Porrex, okay, is other title of, so that is, as we know, Gabodak. Other than that, some other work, just like we all have read John Keats, okay. Now John Keats has written a work called Ode to Psyche. Now we have read his ode that he has written, but what does it mean, okay. So according to Greek mythology, the psyche that he has used here is considered to be a mortal woman, okay. So this kind of information is always important, just like title of Tess of the D'Urberville, title of Sound and Fury, okay. So this kind of questions were important one if title was taken from somewhere, okay. After title, subtitle is also important one, okay. If it has some important one, just like frequently this kind of questions were there, and these are the PYQs that I am sharing right now, just like Tess of the D'Urberville. So it has a subtitle, A Pure Woman. This was previously asked, okay. Middlemarch 2010 important question, has a subtitle, a study of provincial life, okay. Next, just like other Pamela, okay, that was also asked, what is it, virtue rewarded, okay. The Mayor of the Castle Bridge also important, Vanity Fair, okay. Subtitle of that was also asked, a novel without hero, okay. So this type of subtitles are important. Now why subtitles are important, that I can say, subtitles are important one because it represents something, okay. Just like Tess of the D'Urberville, okay. Now it has a subtitle, A Pure Woman. Now during this whole novel, the heroine Tess we have, she is showing that purity, okay. She is raising that standard of purity, okay, apart from the societal belief that is there during the Victorian era, okay. So title and subtitles, you have to understand the meaning of it and its relation to that particular text, okay. And apart from that, I forgot to tell you that when you are making a notes, remember this thing, that whenever you are reading a text, made your notes chronologically, okay. This is how you'll be able to understand the year of publication also. Okay, first work, second work, third work, this type of chronologically. So if you have made it your notes chronologically, then even if you missed something to recall the year of publication, then also you can get the answer, correct one. Okay, so title, subtitle. Now opening lines and last lines are always very important one. Opening line, last line, and some of the important lines. Okay, all lines are not important. Okay, some of the important line that shows the whole content of that particular text. Suppose if you read a work called, okay, so this was a recent question that was asked in the exam. Okay, there is nothing outside the text. Now when you read Derrida, you will get to know that what he is talking about when he says there is nothing outside the text. Is summarizing his whole idea. Okay, so this kind of lines are important, just like in Anna Karenina, that it has an opening line that all happy families are alike, every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Okay, so this frequently opening lines were there in the exam and will be there in future also, just like it is there in Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground. I am a sick man, I am a spiteful man. Okay, something is there. I think my liver is diseased. Okay, so this kind of just like it is there in A Tale of Two Cities. Okay, it was the best of time, it was the worst of times, something. So opening lines are important, last lines are also important one. Suppose if you have read 1984, then it has a very famous last line. What's that? I think he love Big Brother. Okay, so what does it express? It express surrender to that ideology. Okay, so lines are important one. If it has some important, we'll go by the next page. Okay, now major themes are important. When you read the summary, you'll get to know about themes. Now themes, then central idea. Central idea will remain one. Themes will be many themes that author would have used to represent the central idea. Okay, just like in Kanthapura. Okay, Kanthapura, what is the central idea? Indian freedom. The author wants to show the Indian freedom struggle, and for that he has used many themes. Non-violence, satyagraha was there, women's empowerment, unity across the caste, religious divides. Okay, so themes are important one. Major themes you must be aware, central idea you must be aware if you are reading any text. After that, now publication is always important. Okay, because nowadays chronology type questions were there in the exam, just like in recent NET exam December 24, chronology of R.K. Narayan's work was there. Okay, chronology of R.K. Narayan's. Okay, post is published after independence. Okay, his work. So the answer that we have is the guide, that we all know. Another that we have is the financial expert. Okay, so chronology is always important one, just like works by Raja Rao when it was published. Year of publication of Kanthapura was also there in the exam. Okay, Thomas Hobbes' philosophical track, Leviathan, when it was first published, when Ulysses was first published. Okay, when Lolita was first published, when Great Gatsby was first published. Okay, so this kind of questions were previously asked in the exam. Okay, so chronology is publication year is always important one. Go by the next. After publication, major translation are also important if author has done it. So in that case, just like translation of Bible is important, translation of Mahabharata, Ramayana is important one. Okay, and if some Gujarati, Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, okay, this kind of plays were translated in English language, then it is important, because previously question were based on that kind of text, like silence, the court is in session, okay, was a Marathi play originally written. Shanta, the court chalu ahe something, and it is translated in uh, Marathi. Okay, so this kind of questions were there. After this, film version of the text is important, but just like major translation of Shakespeare's play, major translation of some disability study literature, movies were based on some original text that we have. Okay, so that is important, because previously there was a question on disability study literature. Okay, disability study literature. Okay, just like questions were there in 2024 set exam, like Khamoshi, okay, Fana, Margarita with a straw. Okay, just like even the translation of works by Shakespeare's were also emulated, just like Hamlet, so heather is made on it. Okay, suppose Omkara, so Omkara is a movie that is based on Othello. Okay, Romeo Juliet, which was the movie that is based on this work, that is Ram Leela. Okay, other than that, so you have to recall who has directed that movie and who has played the leading role in that movie. Okay, so film version of that text is also important one. Now next we have is type could be genre, like if you are reading a book, which type of that work, just like I'll give you an example, a room with a view, a room with a view, sorry, okay, a room with a view, so it is a Lucy novel. Okay, so it's just like birthday party, so it is comedy of meanness. Okay, so this kind of work is important, just like in December 24 recently it was asked, Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, it is which type of text, so it is comedy. Which text? Much Ado About Nothing by Shakespeare. Okay, so just like Everyman, question of Everyman was asked, so what is it? It is orality play. Okay, so this kind of questions were there. After this, setting of any work is also important when if author has used some special setting. Okay, just like Hardy. Hardy has used special setting of Wessex in his novels, so that is important one. Okay, uh, just like previously asked, okay, setting in Dickens some work, that is Bleak House. Okay, setting of White Sargasso, so that is the Caribbean one. Okay, so setting is also important one if it has some historical meaning. Okay, then symbols. Now symbols are always important not for any exam, but to understand that text also, because to express his or her idea, author has used various symbols. Okay, just like as I told you, the postman always ring twice. So the postman here, postman was poetic justice. So that is the symbol was used in the title, just like works of T.S. Eliot. Okay, lots and lots of symbol that he has used, just like Vladimir Nabokov, because frequently this author was asked. Okay, the battle of the books, just like we have a symbol of bee, symbol of spider. Okay, so symbols are always very important one. So now this is what I've shared, that I've made for my own preparation of NET exam. This is how I have read. Okay, other things are also there, but this is how I have read, because uh, lots and lots of information you can't recall. Okay, then it will be like you are mugging up something. So these are this is the trick that I have used. I will go by the next page. Now when you are reading a text, characters are always important one, if they are the major one or the anti character, because in recent 24 net exam, questions from characters were there. Okay, so characters are always very important. Okay, just like character of Abel Whittle was there, character of characters of Mayor of the Castle Bridge was there, character of Tess is there. Okay, character of Sethe was there, character of Captain Ahab was there, captain of Barabbas was as Munno. Okay, okay, so characters, these are some of the very famous characters that were previously asked in this exam. Okay, I'll write this one, just like Aston. Now in which book Aston is there, that you have to guess. It is there in the caretaker. Then another character, Abel. So it is character that is very famous in the Mayor of the Castle Bridge. Okay, then character of Captain Ahab, it is there in which work? It is there in Moby Dick. Character of Seth was there in which work? Beloved. Okay, character of Barabbas. So characters are always recent one. In 2024 exam was there, character of Munno. Munno was there in which work? It was there in Coolie. He is the central character. Okay, so to recall characters, major and the anti character is very important one. After this, narrators are also very important one, because they'll have some special meaning to that text. Okay, and if they have used some different narration technique also, narration technique if they have used, then it's also important one. Just like I'll give you an example, The Color Purple. Now we all have read this beautiful novel by Alice Walker. Okay, so this novel has a different writing style, because the central character we have is Sally. Now she is writing her letters to God. Okay, and this is the different narration technique, that different style that the author has used. Just like previously as Republic is written in dialogue form. Okay, just like Hind Swaraj. These were the previously asked question. Okay, so narration and narrative techniques is important one, just like Lord Jim. Now narrator of Lord Jim is Marlowe. Okay, so this was also asked in NET exam. Okay, just like the shadow line. So the grandmother Thamma. Okay, the Great Gatsby, very famous novel. So it is by narrated by whom? It is narrated by Nick Carroll, and he is also part of that novel, just like Wuthering Heights. Okay, so there is one narrator. No, author has used Nellie, also Mr. Lockwood. Okay, so narrators are important one, because this type of questions were there in the exam. We'll go by the next page. Okay, after this, epigraph is also important one, because this type of questions were also there, just like epigraph of Kubla Khan, okay, was also asked. Epigraph of Tess of the D'Urberville was also asked. Okay, it is recently asked in the December 24 exam, that Tess of the D'Urberville, Tess of the, it is there from which? It is from the two gentlemen of Verona. Okay, so if any work has an epigraph and was author's major work, then epigraph is also important, should be an important part of your preparation one. Okay, you must recall that it has taken from which work. Okay, we'll go by the next page. Okay, after epigraph, you must be aware reason of writing that text. Now why I am adding this point, reason of writing this text? Now if that author has written that text to what? To response, okay, to criticize, okay, to express, okay, or for some message. So reason of writing that text is always important one. Okay, because this kind of questions were indirectly there in the exam. Okay, if that work is dedicated to someone, then it is also important one. Okay, just like Francis Bacon advancement of learning, it was dedicated to King James. Okay, so if that work was written after death of some dear one, then it's also important one. Okay, just like Chaucer. So Chaucer has written a work, the Book of Duchess. Next page. Okay, the Book of Duchess. Okay, on the death of whom? Death of Blanche, wife of John of Gaunt. Wife of John of, okay, that is the wrong. Okay, so just like Thomas Kyd, Spanish tragedy, it was influenced by something, by Seneca. Just like Byron's Vision of Judgment. Byron's Vision of Judgment. Vision of Judgment. Byron's Vision of Judgment was a satire against whom? So it was against Southey. Okay, so if, and there are many questions like this. Okay, just like poetry of Wordsworth and Coleridge, it was influenced by whom? By the French Revolution, because they want to publish something that is very natural and connected to nature, or shows some importance of nature in human life. Okay, so if author has written some, just like and apart from this, if author has taken some character and used that character as a major character of his or her work, then it's also important one, just like the mad woman in the attic. Okay, so this kind of works are always very important one, just like if author has written something and in that response next author has written something. Okay, just like Langston Hughes has written a poem called I to Sing America, and it is response to Walt Whitman's I Hear America Singing. Okay, so this kind of uh, reasons were very important one. Go by the next page. Okay, now what to read when you are reading any particular age? Suppose if you are reading any particular age, then social political condition of that age is very important one. Okay, okay, after that condition of female is very important one. Okay, major discoveries were very important one. Okay, if some new thing was discovered during that age, then it's important, just like discoveries of Renaissance, discoveries of Victorian age, discoveries of Elizabethan age, so discoveries of Puritan age. Okay, so discoveries are important. Now education is always important one. Okay, female education, male education, so education is also important one. War and battles, now these are also important one. King and queens are important when you are reading any age. Okay, suppose was the king of Victorian era, Queen Victoria, but from what age she became queen. Okay, and when his era ended a new age begins. Okay, so uh, this king and queen important one. Then major movements always very important one. Okay, just like Lollardy movement that we have. Okay, reformation. Okay, so this kind of things are important. Major movements, groups are always very important one, not only literary group, but if political social groups are there. Okay, some female just like female groups are there in age of Pope Augustan age, so groups are important one to recall. Kit Kat group we have. Okay, okay, major text that represent ideology of that age is always very important one to understand, to recall. Okay, because that text will represent whatever has happened during that age. Okay, so just like this kind of questions were there. Age of Queen Victoria. Okay, Georgian period. Okay, which during which uh, uh, time Globe Theatre was burned. Okay, so who was the king during that age? So this type of questions, just like Henry VIII. Okay, so this type of questions, just like Crystal Palace Great Exhibition, Angry Young Men movement. Okay, Red Lion Theatre, Red Lion Stephanie. Okay, Globe Theatre, Curtain Theatre. Okay, so this kind of things are always very important one, and these are the points. This is how I have done my preparation when I was preparing. Okay, so hope it will be helpful for you all in your preparation. Thank you for watching this video. We'll meet in next lecture for sure.